From Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana, this is your Monster Energy AMA Supercross post-race report. Alongside the 5-time Supercross champion Ricky Carmichael, I am Todd Harris. Well, let's start in the 250 EAT class. The big story, really, Jett Lawrence going down not once, but twice.
Yeah, he took a bad one-time qualifying practice, like an uppercut from Mike Tyson, but this was by his handlebar, and really hated to see that. Then he turns around like second lap in his heat race and just augers in right on his right-hand shoulder, which would eventually take him out for the rest of the night.
Colt Nichols on his way to a third consecutive win, but let's go to the action. Here it is. Heat number 1, as Ricky was talking about. Keep your eye on the 18 of Jett Lawrence.
Yeah, there he goes. He lands right on that tough block, going down hard. You can see right there that blue sleeve. He's tapping the shoulder, and he'll come back eventually, and he'll win the last chance qualifier.
And he gets to the main event, but as he gets to the line, the decision is made. No, you're not going.
Yeah, just hate to see that, but this is going to be a learning lesson for Jett, and he needs to take all these moments in so he knows not to make these mistakes ever again.
250 main event, and how about this start? Just when Michael Mosiman needed it the most, he gets it.
And boy, was it a start. And he said after Saturday's race, he needed to ride a little more aggressive, take a little more chances if he wanted to have a shot at winning.
About this pile up.
Yeah, boy, look at that pile up. Look at Joe Shimoda going down. Such a bummer, coming off of his first podium appearance when we were here last Saturday.
He would come back to finish in 4th place. Good battle up front until this incident out on the track, and Mosiman just tags the rider in the back. And watch the bottom of your screen. Whoop. That's all Colt Nichols needed.
Yeah, he went right by, and I thought Mosiman had a great shot to win, but not after that.
Colt Nichols, the way he was riding and as much time as he had with no one out in front, made it look easy as he takes the checkered flag and gets the win officially here in Indianapolis. So, Colt Nichols on a roll. Can anyone stop him? Could Christian Craig mount something this Saturday?
Well, I'm trying to be optimistic. I surely would like to see him challenge his teammate, but I mean, Colt is just on another level right now. When I watch him, he just looks so good on the bike and comfortable. He doesn't look like he's taking a lot of chances, and that is a sign to me that he's very, very comfortable.
And there you see the standings, 122 points for Colt Nichols, way out in front. Christian Craig's going to have to change something up, find a way to get a start, and see if he can't hold off his teammate on that Yamaha squad. As we check in now with Will, what did you take away from the night, and you and Daniel?
Well, we were just watching that footage there, weren't we, of Jett Lawrence, and he went to the LCQ gate there. So he had to ride the LCQs, then he went to the main gate, and then he backed out. Well, there was another story running underneath this, wasn't there, that we reported on, and that was that of Mitchell Oldenburg, and he ended up taking Jett Lawrence's gate there in the main event. He was also supposed to be in the LCQ, just as a little recap there. When he got to the gate, he'd had some bike problems. They told him that he'd swapped out his bike. They said, no, this is a new frame. You can't have a new frame. They said, no, we've just changed out the engine. And there was this back and forth. Anyway, they wouldn't let him ride the LCQ. So then Mitchell's waiting. They're proving their point. They've got film showing that they didn't swap out the frame. All this is happening for this poor guy. And then finally he jumps into Jett Lawrence's spot there in the gate. Absolutely incredible, gets a good start, ends up running 4th, and then, what do you know, at the end of a night like that, more bike problems, and he ends up sort of not finishing due to a malfunction there. And all this, guys, after we saw him have a terrible get-off there with another bike problem earlier where we saw his rear wheel kind of freeze up and he ended up getting pitched forward. He managed to kind of save it. How he didn't get hurt, we don't know. So just a crazy night of up and down, and this went on for the whole night for Mitchell Oldenburg. So really impressive that he kept being able to regroup, really, and get back out there, Daniel. Just an amazing performance.
Yeah, a great team effort for them to try to pull this whole thing off, and unfortunately it ends with him not finishing the race. But, I mean, the team came together to do what they could to try, and you got to give him a lot of respect for that. I'd like to focus on Michael Mosiman. Ricky just said he had a shot at it, and I agree. Now, I don't know if he would have been able to go the distance with Colt Nichols, but, man, he had an opportunity there, and, of course, the lap rider goes down, takes him out. And as Colt Nichols goes by, you have to be wondering, like, what would the outcome have looked like if he didn't have that happen? Because he had the fastest lap of the main event. He was checking out a little bit there, and he's just been getting better and better and better. So it's something we'll never know. But I want to look at Michael Mosiman on Saturday. I think something's building there, and he might have a shot at it. And Colt Nichols is riding great right now, but Mosiman's he's sneaking into this conversation.
All right, so the big story coming into Saturday, the third and final stop here in our residency, will be Jet Lawrence be on the line? Will we see him Saturday? And can anyone stop Colt Nichols?
Yeah, I can't see it happening. I'm trying to be optimistic. I want someone to definitely challenge him, but it's impressive to watch, right, when you think of where he's come from. He had a couple rough goes at it. This is his third year on the Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha team, and it's really come to fruition for him.
Great show in the 450 main event, especially if you're a fan of Ken Roczen. Did not get the whole shot, but he did not take very long to get past the rest of the field, and then absolutely the picture of checking out.
Yeah, I mean, watch this. So he's going to set Justin Barcia up, come up the inside, scrub that finish line, go right up the inside, and he knew he wanted to set sail early, right, and very aggressive, high intensity level. Justin Barcia tries to counterattack on a pass right there. I'm going to tell you, we talk about how important it is this season. Oh, you got to be consistent. You got to be up front. Well, yeah, you have to do that. But I think this is going to be a season where not only do you got to be consistent, you have got to win races. And I mean, this is really impressive what the 94 has been able to do.
Take a look at the point standings now. Roczen is now 13 points clear of Cooper Webb, who did a masterful job getting himself up into fourth. And Eli Tomac just could not reel him in as he's 1 point behind Cooper Webb.
Yeah, and you look at Cooper Webb and Eli Tomac, they're still there, and there's several guys on that list right there. Dylan Fuentes, Adam Cianciarulo, Zach Osborne, Newscan. I mean, those are guys that we know can win, and some guys have already won. But when I look at Ken Roczen, I just think of his whole program. He's changed a lot in the offseason. You look at his starts, they're the most consistent. You look at his finishes, they're the most consistent. I mean, across the board, he has the best averages, and everything just looks like it's going lockstep for him. He doesn't even look like he's trying. That tells me that he's very, very comfortable, and you can just see it. You can hear it in his voice. So these other guys are going to have to step the game up, and they're going to have to challenge him and get Ken thinking. If not, it's game over.
Yeah, Daniel, you've had an opportunity to interact with a lot of these riders. Do you agree with what Ricky's saying, and is Ken Roczen the guy?
100%. He's been on the podium 4 of 5 races. He's the only 2-time winner. And, you know, he's starting to look, Ricky, I want to know your thoughts on this. Starting to look like 2017 Ken Roczen. Remember when he got on the Honda HRC team? He comes out and wins the first 2 races of the series before he had the big injury that hurt his arm and pretty much spiraled his whole life out of control. He is starting to look like that guy. And if that guy comes out in 2021, I think they're in real big trouble. I do want to make a point, though, about Aaron Plessinger. In years past, Aaron Plessinger has worked his way into the season. He gets a top 5, and then he's had these injuries that have taken him out, ruined all the momentum. Tonight, we saw another performance where he was aggressive. He was making moves, passing his way through into a top 5 finish, and I just want to see Aaron back it up and continue to build. He hasn't had that opportunity the last 2 seasons, and if he does, the sky's the limit. He's so talented. He's a 250 champion. We've just never had a chance to see it. So, Aaron, good ride. Keep it going. Double down on Saturday. I think it's possible. He's riding great right now, Will.
And, Will, I'll tell you what, you were down there. You've talked with Ken Roczen quite a few times, and I think I remember one of the interviews you did with him when he was talking about his maturity and what he's had to do to get himself not only in a good position on the track, on the bike, but mentally. Is he a changed man?
He describes it himself, Todd, as a full-blown reset. They were the words he used to me. Ricky, you've talked about it a bunch there. Everything that has gone into this new state of mind for him. I mean, he's talked about it, you know, very openly with us and just said, you know, I'm different. I've changed everything. And part of that he's changed is the mental side of it, including taking on a mental coach. He's been open about that. And it's clearly made a massive difference. As you guys said there, you can hear it in his voice, Ricky. That's exactly it. When you speak to him, you can hear it in his voice. I completely agree with Daniel there when he's talking about Aaron Plessinger, and I just want to give a little shout out to the statement that I feel was made tonight by Justin Barcia. A 13th just 3 nights ago. I think we were all in that place perhaps, and I think you would understand us saying this, where maybe we're seeing that time of the season for Justin Barcia where things start to tail off a little bit. You know, he's great at the beginning of the season, and then trying to hang in there in those points hasn't always been the case in the last few years. Well, trying to regroup from that is probably more challenging than staying up there in the first place, right? And tonight, we saw him do it in a very difficult way because he had to hold off the reigning champion, Eli Tomac, to do it. And Eli was charging. We saw him charge through from the 9th or something like that. We know what Eli Tomac is like when he's in that position and he's moving through the pack, and he doesn't take any prisoners. And Barsha was able to hold him off, and I think that was impressive. And you could see it in Justin tonight. He was clearly pleased with that performance, and I think for him that marks I'm still in this.
Well, I want to mention one last thing as we inch up on our last race here at Lucas Oil Stadium, which will be on Saturday. You got to think, if you're Ken Roczen or Colt Nichols, to pull off the hat trick here and win all 3 races, sweep this residency, there's a little bit more motivation there. And I'm going to tell you, you can bet your bottom dollar that those guys are going to want to do that and close this residency at Indy out going 1-1-1. This is not going to be any better way to finish this here. So I expect them to be extra special Saturday.
It'll be a whole new track Saturday night. They're already going to work on it. So Daniel and Will, well done down there, and get clear of that heavy equipment. Want to remind you, coming up, it is 8 o'clock live on NBCSN. The final stop number 6 here in Indy. We'll see you then.
Hi, I'm Will Christian, and thank you all so much for watching. I'm here to remind you to hit subscribe for all the latest Supercross news and highlights. And of course, don't forget to sign up for Peacock Premium. That is now the new home for streaming for all live Supercross events all season long.